What's up, everybody? It's your boy Showtimedr. Sorry for the hiatus. I got gacha burnout, so I took off a week. I still played the gachas, I just didn't, whatever. Anywho, so I've been thinking about how to bring you guys this game, and before I get into the basics and going through putting all the pieces together and what makes this game good, I wanted to show you guys what a medium to end game encounter looks like. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. I recorded this for you guys earlier. So this is currently one of the events that's going on, the Citra. Basically, you go into this extra map, and I'm kind of showing what I got right there for those that are familiar with it. You go into an extra map, and then there's a bunch of missions to do, and fairly hard guys to fight, especially towards the end. And as you progress, the things not only get a lot harder, but eventually on this one, the very last bonus stage, once you're done with the story, is actually some old raid bosses, and some of them have been beefed up fairly significantly, so I wanted to give you guys a taste of what that looks like and the strategy that's involved with not only your gearing and which skills you're bringing, but which characters you're bringing and how you're trying to counter what's going on. I'm going to do my best to show you guys exactly what's going on from my perspective at the time, and I'll show you guys what I did wrong, what I did right, etc. But we're going to get started right now. So when you start one of these missions, basically there's going to be 3 preset goals, like it'll say use X ability or hit someone with this type of damage, don't let anyone die, don't use items, etc. There's always challenges in all these maps, so that kind of adds an extra flavor to things versus a game like KC where everything's fairly stable. So this is a 3-part map, 30 energy per. That's actually a fairly beefy amount of energy. So there's your missions right there. Deal earth damage 2 times, defeat level 99 EO with a limit burst, and use no items. So now that I've set this team up, I can't switch anything. I can't switch gear, I can't switch espers, I can't switch out characters or anything. I just got to go with this. So that's why you got to really plan when you go to these missions before you get there. Now this guy, he has this thing with him, that searcher. Now a lot of people, they'd be like, oh, just kill the searcher first. You really don't want to kill the searcher first because it buffs him. So you'll see later on, I think I actually did it. I hit provoke with Zarg there because I heard there was a really nasty physical damage boss. That guy down at the bottom left is Awaken Rain. He's currently the best magic tank in the game, magic damage. So I had him do his, he has basically a taunt. He's going to cover most magic damage that's done for the entire party. And he's also going to do damage reduction, unless you have 100% resistance like I do for all these bosses. So in this case, he's pretty much going to take no damage from magic. Now, Lotus Mage Fina, that's the one in the upper right. She's actually one of the very best healers in the game with a little bit of an offensive kick. I think I cast Re-Raise. I'm casting Re-Raise on both the tanks and the front. Generally a good thing to do. Sorry, I missed whatever that was right there. I'll get back to it, though, what I'm doing. So this is CG Lid, Heavenly Technician Lid. Lid is one of the best breakers in the game. A breaker in this game is very important. Basically, it reduces total stats on your enemies. So in that case, you see right there, I'm doing the Arms Dissolver. Arms Dissolver brings down attack 50% and magic 50%. Now, some of those abilities can be immune. Some people are immune to them. But this is actually my first time using Grimlord Sakura. She's actually one of the featured units right now. I have a CG Sakura, as you see in the upper right. Blossom Sage Sakura is her technical name. When I say CG, guys, that means that their limit bursts, the super attacks in this game, they have their own cutscene. So that's why a lot of people just refer to them as CC. So you see all the damage that was going out there. Well, that damage was nerfed. You saw how Rain, he steps to the front. When Rain steps to the front, that means that there's magic damage going out, and he's going to take some of it when you get him in that ability. Now, the guy in the middle front, Judge Zarg, he recently got his 7-star, which means he has extra abilities, and he can get extra health, etc., and be leveled beyond 6-star. Most characters in this game are locked to 6-star right now. Zarg, I have him with the Esper Titan. Titan basically provokes physical attacks. So, overall, I also have Zarg with gear on. That gives him about 90% evade, which ended up being a mistake later, but we'll get to that point. But so, essentially here, I'm trying to figure out, because there's a ton of abilities. One of the challenge missions for this is to deal, I believe it was fire and earth damage. It may have been earth and lightning. So my Awakened Rain can do earth damage. And then... So Shining Cheer, that's basically a regen that fills up your LB Gauge a little bit. LB Gauge is basically, think of it as Limit Burst for those of you guys that played regular Final Fantasy games. But it's called Limit, or Limit Break rather, but it's called Limit Burst in this game. So right now, I don't want to do too much damage because I'm trying to essentially keep this guy alive long enough to do all the missions. There's some retaliation stuff right there. So you see, he buffed his magic, and he also buffed his defense, is what it looks like right there. You know, maybe I need to... Let me see if I can get this screen a little bit bigger for you guys on what matters. Well, actually, it'd be really hard. Yeah, I apologize, guys. It's like a top-down thing, so... What I should try to do is actually do this landscape-wise, and then I'll just put myself on the corner. I'll try that next time. But anyway, so he's provoking again, so he's provoking all physical attacks. You'll notice that when Judge is hit with physical attacks a lot of the time, he's actually... the boss is actually missing, because I've given Judge over 90% of evasion. He has 20% passively. He gets 20% more when you get him to level 120. He's currently at level 110. And so this is CG Sakura. What I'm doing with her right now, quick combo makes it so that you can use certain skills twice, and I'm using Rebel Intention, which is her hardest hitting overall magic ability. Deals partially unmitigated damage. In this game, Spirit is your magical defense. And partially unmitigated means it ignores a certain percentage of spirit. I believe that one is 25%. So essentially 25% of the defense is gone from anyone that's attacking. That's more re-raises going out. Re-raise, for those who are unfamiliar, essentially if you die, you come right back up with a percentage of your health. Not a huge percentage, but you know, it protects you from death there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and try to speed this up a bit. I just forget how to actually do that in this. But you guys basically get right by now what I'm trying to do, so... So the music's going to go up a bit. Now Eccentric, what Eccentric is, that's what CG Lid just cast. She's in the bottom, or the right middle. Eccentric is something from Riku's Pouch, which is a TMR in this game, a Trust Mastery reward. Some really good stuff out of that, like the top treasures in the game, basically. That basically makes it so that you fill up your limit gauge faster. One of the stronger items in the game, actually. It also does a lot of other stuff, but for time's sake, that's what it does. So you see all the attacks going out. Now before this, I equipped my Rain, my Awakened Rain. Once again, the best magic tank in the game currently, bottom left there. I equipped them with 100% resist to lightning, to blizzard, and to water, because those are the skills that all the bosses in this gauntlet use. So if you make him immune to that, then essentially you don't have to worry about even like his spirit or anything, unless there is an imperil. An imperil in this game basically means it lowers your elemental resistances. So if that happens, luckily it's not going to happen in these encounters. But if that does happen, you do have to deal with that with either a dispel or just beef up your own resistances or have enough gear. Because there are resistance buffs in this game. Like Judge actually has one, the guy in the middle there. There's one of the CGs for you guys, and I figured, why not, boobs? So chain attacks. If you get characters that attack with similar frames in either their magic or their physical attacks, and you queue them up one after the other to start attacking, their attacks will chain, and you can get like 100 plus chains, even higher than that if you have, say, 3 characters that do similar attacks. And there's chaining families in this game. For every chain, 1 to whatever you get to, it does a percentage multiplier bonus damage until eventually, once you get to 100, it's just like ridiculous multipliers. That's how you finish off a lot of people in this game. And they're called finishers. The important things in this game are finishers, breakers, buffers, magic tanks, physical tanks, and then just your general DPS. There's lots of setup damage and setup things, so lots of strategy involved in this game, guys. I'm gonna look forward to bringing it to you over the course of the next probably month and a half. Just going over the basics to this game, because this is a very deep game. It's not something that... I'm approaching this from the standpoint of people who haven't played before, or maybe they don't understand. Because there's plenty of videos on advanced tactics and stuff. But a lot of those guys, you know, they're spending money on the game and they can get every character, etc. I'm someone who can't do that. I gotta roll with whatever I get, so... Right there, I'm just pulling out... So you see... The scout guy went down, so you see how his damage is going even crazier right now. So if Rain didn't have that resist right there, he was probably going to take a truckload of lightning damage. And you see he got the AoE out. Now the AoE most likely cannot be tanked, because there are certain things in this game that just can't be tanked. Even if you set up a tank for it, because for whatever reason they'll have bypass, it won't be classified as a physical or a magical skill. The devs find lots of interesting ways to get around typical setups in this game, so that is one thing you guys will need to be aware of as well. In fact, later on I'll show you, the devs actually got me with one I didn't know was coming. Involving our man Judge there. There's another CG there from Sakura. So right here I was testing, I was like, because you have to kill him with a limit burst. And unfortunately for me, I only got him to 13%. But as long as one person doesn't act, you can reset it. So you see, this is what I'm doing in this case. I'm actually going and restarting the game because I screwed up that turn. And rather than, you know, either quit out, because if you give up, it actually resets you all the way back to the beginning. Not just of that fight, but say I was in the second fight. I'd have to go back and redo the whole thing again, including the first fight. So, rather than do that, luckily, as long as one person doesn't go here, like it says, play run and mission, go back. So basically, as long as it's not going to be the enemy's turn, you're usually pretty good. So if you have something that you're trying to do, satisfy a certain mission condition, or a move just doesn't go the way that you wanted it to, or you use the wrong thing or whatever, yeah, just go ahead, come back. And right now I'm setting up all the stuff I was doing, because I actually screwed that up. There was a way to do that in this turn, because I'm trying to kill him with the limit burst. There's a way to do it, but I just wasn't seeing it at the time. And here, it'll show you what I'm doing differently here. Because this guy's weak to lightning, and I believe it's just lightning for him. So Grimlord Sakura did more damage than I was expecting her to do. So in that case, I was like, well, why don't I just, because it's 14%, why don't I just set up for the next turn? And then keep Rain, because I was afraid, because a lot of these raid bosses, they have hit HP thresholds, and HP threshold is basically like 30%, 60%. It's different for all the bosses, but once you get them down to a certain level, they'll do a pre-registered set of moves, their strongest moves usually, that are designed to fuck your party up because you weren't ready for it. Now, there are guides on how to do this for all the different bosses in this game, and trust me, there are a lot of raid bosses in this game. So right now, you see I'm just queuing up all the limit bursts, because one of the missions is kill them with the limit burst. And we're just gonna fucking go to town here. So this is the best, one of the best breaks in the game. Breaks 60% of everything. Magic, attack, defense, and spirit. And so after that, I was just like, yo, fuck this guy up, let's go. And there you go. And there you see how the chain burst works there. So that was that mission. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the other missions here. We'll get to it. Let me actually get to Here we go. Okay, so this was the second mission. Now, when this mission starts, keep in mind, guys, he had already taken a turn because this boss, Irenaeus, you actually fight him early, and this is a little bit of a buffed up version. He gets first turn. You don't get first turn. So what he's trying to do is fuck your party up by charming them and stoning them or casting whatever status element. I forget all the stuff he can do. But he can do, like, it's either confusion or stone or whatever it was, so... My tank right there was stopped, so I actually used a trick. Let me actually go back there, because you can't normally do this. Watch what I do with... Oh, let me go back. Watch what I do with Fina. This is not something that's common knowledge, per se. So I go down, I hit dual cast, which means I'm using 2 of her regular magic spells in a turn. I'm casting Curaga. Curaga is a big fat AoE heal. And then I am also casting Dispelga. Now read what Dispelga says. I know it's kind of small there. I'll read it for you. Remove all status effects from all enemies. So it's supposed to be cast on all enemies. Like if they have buffs up that you don't want or whatever thing's going on, you can dispel everything. But there is a trick to where you can cast on your own party if you get a debuff you don't want. Like in this case, Rain's Charm, because you see in the lower right, left there, he has stop on him. Normally Rain is 100% resistant to stop. But for whatever reason, Irenaeus got it on him. I don't know exactly what happened. Maybe he's not 100% resistant. I'm not sure. But Rain did his job because he took all the magic damage. He does have a passive where he will take single target magic damage just passively. So you see here, I'm casting the spell. First spell's a cure, second spell's the dispel. But look what I do in the meantime. And that was kind of quick there. Let me go back. I select one of my members and you can select target and it will target them with a spell. Now if I did this before I casted, it wouldn't let her cast. But if you do it after you start the cast with a dual cast and you quickly go and click target, then the spell that was meant for the enemy, you'll see that second spell effect that goes off. It goes off on me. Now Rain can act. He's no longer stopped. So I went ahead and put up his magic defense. And now Rain's going to tank any of the crazy magic stuff that's going to go out. So, and then right here I'm casting like debuff resistance because this boss likes to do a bunch of crazy debuffs like I said earlier. And then Rise Again is a re-raise. I was actually going in full defensive mode here because I remember fighting this guy back in the day when I was new and he just whooped my ass like over and over repeatedly. So you see he has Poison All there. It didn't work. He's resistant to everything, I believe, but Spirit debuff. So you can't gimp his magic or his attack. Standout, that's a provoke. Rain does have a provoke as well. I think it's 20% chance for him to take all damage. Because I noticed that Irenaeus' regular attack, it's one of the elements that Rain is 100% resistant to. So there's no reason for Judge to take the provoke if Rain can fully resist all his damage and most of his status effects, if not all of his status effects with the buff up. So right now, I believe there was a mission, I think I had to hit him with Fire and Lightning. So I'm kind of going through that. I'm like, well, what am I going to do? It's like, okay, I can hit him with 2 of this Quick Lightning Blade that Grim Sakura has, and as you saw, you might have seen there while I was going through the skills. I can also hit him with her dual fire blades next turn, and that'll satisfy the quest because she can cast it twice per turn. So, pretty simple there. Deep Tsunami. Rain's 100% resistant. Rain's taking his basic physical attacks there. And here's the thing, guys. If you start out this game, it's going to take a long time for you to build up. Not only get good characters, but to build up the skills and stuff you need. The gear that you're going to need to get 100% resist. The gear that you're going to need for 100% dodge. The gear that you're going to need to get your attackers to like damn near max attack. Etc, etc. It's a long process, guys, and you have to be really patient with this game. But if you're patient, it's like a good long-term project. It's like, you know, starting your own business, or for you guys that have those minds, you know, or like a project you want to work on, say for the house or whatever, or for your own, you know, maybe for your child or whatever. Just think of it in that way. This game is so much fun, and especially for you old school Final Fantasy players, Because we've gotten screwed on Final Fantasy since Final Fantasy X, as far as turn-based action goes. This is the game for you, man. So right here, let me break this screen down. That was actually an important screen. I cast Libra just to see what all his stuff is. So right there you can see his level, his HP, current HP, max HP, his magic power. You can actually drain magic power, by the way, in this game. Drain, like even some raid bosses, you can drain all their magic and then they're fucked on magic for a while. He's null to everything, which means he resists all those debuffs you can see at the very bottom of the screen. I'll list them all for you from left to right. It's poison, blind, sleep, silence, paralysis, confusion, disease, and stone. And we'll go over what all those do another time. And then up there, the elemental resist, that should be fairly explanatory. Down means he has less of, up means he has more of. So he has 200% resist to everything. Or excuse me, to water, light, and dark. Doesn't have any resist for earth and wind. But he has negative 100% resist for lightning and fire. That's why when you see Grimlord Sakura hit him with that lightning or that fire, why it does so much damage. And then ice, once again. He has no resistance for ice. But you want, when you fight stuff, you want to hit their weaknesses as hard as possible. And there are imperils in this game where you can take down someone's weakness. Some of the best skills in the game actually are imperils that not only take down the resistance of whatever you're focusing on, but also deal that same damage, like Barbara Sia. She has a wind imperil, 75%. That also deals a truck ton of wind damage that you can chain. So right here, he's doing like his stop stuff. He got a stop on my rain again. Which, to be honest, I'm still not sure how he did that. I thought rain was resistant. Maybe it's not a full resist, though. But so now I gotta do that one trick again that I showed you guys earlier. And also, I can't use Limit Burst on this. Limit Burst is one of the missions. You can't use your Limit Burst on this, so I can't just be like, okay, I'll just Limit Burst this guy to death. You're supposed to kill him, I believe, with an Esper? I believe it was with an Esper. I might be wrong on that. It's either an Esper or magic. So, I wasn't reading earlier. He's 100% resistant to Holy, so I just completely wasted Fina's turn there. And then right there, I'm buffing Arcadian Light as a big stab boost, along with some resistances. And yeah, it's an Esper. So I'm trying to kill him with the Esper right here. And I fucked up. It's 3%, so you see me restarting again. So let me go ahead. I'll speed this up for you guys. Now, sometimes when you restart, it'll still be loading the data, so be careful about that, like the data that you already had going. So try to give it like 10 seconds. I'm being impatient here, but give it like 5-10 seconds at least, so that the game can get rid of the cache memory or whatever is going on either your emulator or your phone or whatever you're playing on. And then so we come back and I see, now I see that I can reduce his health more than I thought I could. So I did that Dispel thing again, right there, Cure Dispel. And I put Rain into tank magic mode, because if another turn was going to happen, I needed to tank as much magic as possible. Now, I'm starting to look at, eventually I'm going to get around to looking at Grimlord Sakura, and I'm going to be like, oh yeah, she does like 8 to 9% damage just by herself. And I can dual cast, so per skill. So watch, she goes from 26%. As soon as I cast it here. And that debuff you see on him is lowered spirit, which means magic resistance. So look at that, it's at 7%. I remember I did about, what was it, 11% with Ramu earlier. And zing, we're done. So I just had to put all the pieces together there. That's how that fight worked. And there you go. Now, I am going to show you guys a big fuck up that I did, where I am actually going to have to go back and do all of those again because I fucked up this fight, and there's no do-overs once you lose it. So let's go ahead. This is currently, someone told me about this guy, so I purposely prepared for him, and I still got fucked up. Look at this. In fact, you know what? I don't even need to go fast on this because this isn't even that. Alright, so this guy. watch me get wrecked on this. So I was under the impression that, because someone told me you need a magic tank for the water damage he deals, and you need a physical tank for all the tentacles and stuff, because they all hit, and they all hit really fucking hard, and even the best tanks in the game will get wrecked by it. So there goes Judge's Provoke, there's Energy Wall, which is the magic tank damage reduction for Rain. And right about here, I'm starting to like buff up, which was a mistake. I should have just started to go on him and hopefully start killing his arms. That's what I'm going to have to do next time I come here. And it'll show you guys how many arms he has as soon as I click him. Just give it a second. But right now I'm starting to look at, okay, I got to deal a certain type of damage because that's the missions. And I was totally into the missions. And little did I know what was coming. Now the problem is... Actually, you know what? I'll let you guys see it, and then I'll tell you guys what the actual problem is. Now, take a look at this. I do... Where is it? Right there. Arm Dissolver. Damage and reduce attack and magic by 50% is how it works. So I'm lowering this guy's magic and attack by 50% on his stats. Yeah, I cast Re-Raise on the tanks, which is smart. So look at this shit. Now, I have... a Judge that has 90% evasion. Keep that in mind, okay? He's my physical tank. The guy in the middle front. Okay, now watch this. There's the spells. Boom! He just completely fucks my team up. Because all of those arms are individual attackers, and I was fucked at this point. I can't do anything, because even if I res everybody, he's just going to do the same shit again. So I'm fucked. And that was that. So what I didn't know was... Judge does have 90% evasion to physical, but on this boss it doesn't matter because he completely negates evasion. So I'm going to have to come back probably with a friend's tank as beefy as I can get him, because I'm not at that point where I can just one-shot. There's a lot of people that will be like, well, just one-shot him because they have the abilities and the skills to do that. I don't have all that yet. So I'm either going to have to come back here with a friend unit that can tank that with Re-Raise, or I'm going to have to come back here with a chainer and hopefully one-shot at least the majority of the tentacles first turn, because that was fucking ridiculous. So, but I just wanted to give you guys a cue of what in-game / medium in-game looks like. There's way harder shit than this guy in the game, by the way. There are 10-man trials where you have one team that defends, one team that attacks, and you can swap people in and out because some turns, you know, a certain ability's coming, you need your breaker, you need your magic tank. Oh shit, here comes the physical one-shot. I need to get this guy in with the death resistance because otherwise this guy will one-shot the entire fucking team. Okay, now he's gonna cast his ability where he does one-shots anyone with the highest magic, so you gotta take the dude with the highest magic out, put in, you know, your decoy guy. And there's just crazy shit in this game, and some of the raid bosses in this game are just absolutely fucking insane. So I look forward to sharing some of that with you guys, and hopefully you got a flavor of what this game's like. So anyways, guys, yo, I'm Showtime Doctor, Showtime DR. You found my YouTube, hit a like if you enjoyed the content. Also in the notes, you can get a link to my Discord coming there. We do have a Final Fantasy Brave Exvius tab, but it's not as active as some of my other tabs because I just started covering this game. But feel free to come in, share your experiences, ask questions. I'll be there to answer some questions for you, as well as give you resources and stuff. Also, I stream on Twitch. Occasionally I stream this game. Usually it's like once a week. Twitch.tv/ShowtimeDR. You can find me there. Stream usually in the evenings, although today I'm doing an earlier stream because, you know, I just felt like it. I'm trying to get my sleep schedule back. So anyways, guys, peace out. Have a great day.